welcome you colleagues to this sitting.
On Tuesday, 29th November 2022, the Deputy Speaker, Right Honourable Thomas Tayebwa, told Parliament that President Yoweri Museveni withheld his assent and sent the Museum and Monuments Act 2022 back for reconsideration.
Since Cabinet took a decision in 2018, government has invested in developing Kirembe mines into an active commercial project for the exploration, the exploitation and processing of copper and cobalt for industrialization. Therefore, Kirembe mines does not fit the description of a protected area. The declaration of Kirembe mines as a protected area will frustrate its development, and government is ongoing competitive bidding process to get a suitable partner and a mineral production sharing agreement. It should be deleted from Schedule 2. Acherere gold mines in Akapiripiriti district is also an active exploration and mining area where mineral rights, exploration licenses and location license were granted under the Mining Act. It should not be listed as a protected area. Declaration of protected areas should be made after consultation with the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. The part of Panyimur sub-county which is a fossil site and should be protected should be mentioned. The relevant fossil site should be named by village and parish. There are areas being studied by the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development in Panyimur sub-county for potential development of geothermal resources. Panyimur should therefore not be declared as protected areas as a whole.
At the same sitting, the Minister for the Presidency, Honourable Millie Babalanda, presented a statement on the World AIDS Day to Parliament with a warning to the public of the rising HIV infections and urging them to refrain from risky behaviour during the festive season.
It is therefore critical to have increased and consistent sensitization of the public about the prevalent risk of new HIV infections and what individuals need to do in order to mitigate the risk. Office of the President will provide oversight to Uganda AIDS Commission to ensure that community sensitization is intensified as part of the commemoration activities.
It is important to have HIV sensitization back to schools, primary schools and secondary schools, where we have the spread the most.
Mr. Speaker, therefore, for the Minister to get serious, the funding bit of it must be put right.
On Wednesday, 30th November 2022, the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, urged legislators to strictly adhere to the parliamentary rules of procedure when debating in the House. Tayebwa's guidance followed the incident on Tuesday, 29th November 2022, where Honourable Francis Zake rose to speak on a point of procedure, but instead presented a matter of national importance on the alleged kidnap and arrest of citizens. The MP rejected calls by Tayebwa to resume his seat, forcing the presiding officer to temporarily suspend proceedings.
It is established parliamentary practice that a point of order must only be used to draw the attention of the presiding officer to words used or conduct of a member at any time immediately after the words are used or conduct that A. breaches the rules of procedure or practice of the House, B. contradicts a previous decision of the House. A member rising on a point of procedure must, before subjecting the member holding the floor, the Speaker's ruling, state 1. that the rule of procedure which he or she deems to have been breached by the member holding the floor. 2. that the procedure matter the member wishes to be ruled upon. A member should not make a political statement, raise a matter of national importance, or any other matter under the guise of a point of procedure. This amounts to an abuse of the rules of procedure. Some of the issues, they are better resolved when you reach out to us as presiding officers. Our offices are open for you.
In the same sitting, members of Parliament expressed concern over the recent attacks on police posts in which officers on duty were injured or killed and guns stolen. A report presented to Parliament by the State Minister for Internal Affairs, Honourable David Muhoozi, showed up to 12 cases of attacks on police posts where at least 16 guns were stolen. MPs said the ministry must conduct a thorough assessment of officers in and out of service with keen attention on veterans.
These are the people that had guns, and I don't know whether we know the number of veterans in this country. We've been yearning for a bill on the veterans to know which veterans are we dealing with. And this could be partly those people that are disgruntled.
The pay disparity in police can cause selling of arms. So I want the minister to comment on the programs they have to enhance the pay to meet the economic terms which are happening. I thank you.
I would pray that the minister, through you right now, Speaker, go back and study all the police posts you closed. There are some police posts you closed that are very far away from the district headquarters.
Our decision to merge was very considered and informed, and rather than have dispersed, fragmented, ineffective positions, we thought merger was the best way to go.
During the sitting, Omoro County MP Honorable Andrew Ojok Olanya presented to Parliament a resolution of the Board of Aldermen, the legislative body for the city of St. Louis, Missouri, in the United States, which paid a memorial tribute to the former Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Lokori Olanya, who died in March this year.
Whereas Honorable Jacob Olanya was a champion of connecting Africa to America, he was a proud supporter of the work of Empowerment of Grace and Global Impact Alliance. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Honorable Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Louis that recognize the late Honorable Speaker, Jacob L. Olanya, and congratulate the Impact Leadership Alliance and its founder for the remarkable success in organizing these global efforts, which serve as a gateway for building international relationships, promoting solidarity, economic development, and improved leadership. We further direct the clerk of this board to spread a copy of this resolution across the minutes of these proceedings and prepare a commemorative copy to the end that it may be presented at a time and place to those deemed appropriate by the sponsor. Introduced this 18th day of November 2022, attested by the Honorable Marlene Davis, Alderwoman 19th Ward.
Thank you, Honorable.
I beg to lay.
We join the family, and as colleagues, we really appreciate and congratulate the late for receiving this award posthumously, and we continue to pray for the soul of our departed leader to rest in eternal peace.
On Thursday, 1st December 2022, the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Among, instructed the House Committee on Finance scrutinizing the Microfinance Deposit-Taking Institutions Amendment Bill 2022 to ensure inclusion of laws that protect members of savings and credit cooperatives, also known as SACCOs.
When you look at the SACCOs, they help us in the inclusion, and which is very important, especially when we have a MIOGA, we have PDM, so it is very important for us to have legislation that helps in protecting the SACCOs. And I want to ask the Committee of Finance, as they look at the law that has been forwarded to them, they should include laws that protect the savers and borrowers at the SACCOs level, because those are not regulated by Bank of Uganda. Bank of Uganda only regulates Tier 1, 2, 3. It does not regulate Tier 4, where the SACCOs belong. So the law should have an inclusion of the SACCOs, so that we have that amendment passed and protect the savers in the SACCOs.
During the sitting, Parliament asked the Minister for Energy and Mineral Development to present a comprehensive statement on the persistent power outage in the country.
Madam Speaker, I'm speaking with pain that Busia as a district, sometimes, so far now 8 months, can go for a week without electricity in Busia. And sometimes we are portioned electricity that we get power 3 days, sometimes 4 days. This is a problem to our business community, that people who earn from welding are no longer working. Ladies and gentlemen with saloons are not working. And moreover, government gave them money of IMIOGA.
I've been approached by traders, a number of manufacturers, individuals, specifically complaining about their electronic appliances which have been destroyed in the process of these outages. The Ministry of Energy, Madam Speaker, should also come out to this House and explain the immediate interventions that the Ministry has taken to permanently solve this problem?
Samyavugwe Central has been privileged to have access to water, but this water has been pumped by electricity. And now for the last 9 months, because of load shedding of electricity, people have no access to water.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I commit myself that the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, with your permission, accord her space on the order paper so that the explanation is given, accountability for what has happened, and also the way forward to avoid this in the future. I thank you.
Thank you. We'll expect a report from the Minister next week before we break off for recess.
In the sitting, members of Parliament also called on government to ensure that adequate funding and other necessary support is accorded to Uganda's missions abroad so as to ensure their smooth operations.
They pay them in Uganda shillings, and when they exchange, it comes to very little money. Those people are expected to be paid a little higher, but what they get is really less compared even to the cost of living in those countries. Just imagine somebody is living in Russia. We appropriate money here, but no money is released. How do you expect that person to live in such a country?
Minister of Finance should review and consider for inclusion in the ministry's annual budget 2022-3 the priority budget proposals submitted by the missions to enable them to effectively discharge their mandate.
I would want to propose, Madam Speaker, finally, that this House takes it upon itself to fundamentally have a look at the state in which our missions are in. It's in our interest.
I therefore adjourn the House to Tuesday.